Good morning, Winterview is back again with another brief dialogue for his dear friend, Annastacey. This brief dialogue is on spiritual experiences, plural. So, this is often an area where the seeker feels like they're making progress in their endeavour to improve. In the previous dialogue, we talked a little bit about the conceptual nature of the journey, in that being conceptual, it's in some way, or in every way, imaginary. How does a concept do anything? So I thought I'd go through a few of the ways in which the experience can shift and change and give the sense that someone is going forward or backward in their endeavours. Let's start with the most obvious, the physical. There seems to be this body unit attached to the person. If we get rid of the person as an idea or whatever, we're just left with the body. The body forms part of the everyday experiences that arise in this awareness, in this consciousness. This is in the form of muscle tension, heartbeat, breathing, funny sounds. You know what I'm talking about. All sorts of stuff that's going on in the body. At times the body feels uncomfortable. Sometimes there's bloating in the stomach. Sometimes there's tight or sore muscles. Sometimes there's injury. Sometimes there's just a sensation that you don't like, a tension, an anxiety, a distress, etc. One of the ways that it gives the feeling that someone is improving in their life, or perhaps even progressing towards something better, is when they experience the difference between a tension that was there and then suddenly feels better, relaxing. There are many chemicals in the body that can give extremely profound experiences. There are endorphins, and there's dopamine and serotonin, adrenaline, cortisol, etc. pulsing, pumping through the body, which can change perception, can change the sense of reality, can change the sense of self, can change the pain levels in the body. There are, drawing from my own experience, I was in so much pain after a back injury once that the pain chemicals were making me intoxicated in the day. I was literally slurring my words and feeling giddy and drunk, all from the release of pain chemistry. And so when there's a physical shift of some kind, it might give the impression that one is moving towards a goal, or the converse is when there's a tension or an anxiety, I'm moving away, definitely moving away. Then there's the emotional system. Some people call it the emotional body. Doesn't really matter. The emotions, of course, there's wide and varied emotions, and I won't list them all. Suffice to say, we'll categorize them into two broad groups, the good and the bad. And maybe there's a neutral somewhere in between. And so anything that triggers a positive emotion, happiness, joy, bliss, ecstasy, well-being, warm-heartedness, amusement, and so forth, is somehow indicative of a moving towards a spiritual goal. Interestingly, when I say this, I'm reminded that you'd have to conceptualize the spiritual goal in terms of positive emotions, wouldn't you? Otherwise you wouldn't know. How would you know you're making progress? If you felt good and you'd conceptualize good as negative, then perhaps you'd be feeling like, oh no, I'm going backwards. And of course there's the full range of negative emotions. We know those very well. Guilt, shame, anxiety, fear, sadness, depression, if that's an emotion, laziness, can't be bothered, hopelessness, anger, etc. All felt as unpleasant and negative. And when we feel those emotions, if we've conceptualized our spiritual journey in terms of positivity, then those emotions signal, oh no, I'm going backwards, I'm not making it, I need to do something. Or perhaps you could contextualize the spiritual journey as I'm purging certain emotions because I'm feeling upset. Something must be shifting. We love the idea of a shift. Something's moving. And then we have, what else have we got? There's we might go a bit more esoteric just for a moment into the energy experiences of the body. Why not? Let's go into the sort of more Eastern ways. There's chakras, meridians, chi or ki, prana, etc. All apparently moving through the body. And some people are very sensitive to what they call energetic shifts. Sometimes they literally feel or experience the blockage of energy, and that could be felt physically or emotionally or both, or just some unusual sense, some unusual perception of that. And then when they feel that the energy is unblocked or flowing, then there is something called spiritual progress. When they feel that a chakra has opened, there's spiritual progress. When the energy in the spine is moving up, perhaps we hear about this in Kundalini yoga, when the energy is moving up the spine, maybe that signifies progress. Maybe it doesn't. Depends on how you have conceptualized your journey. And all the while we stay aware that it's all about how you've conceptualized it at the outset. And then second to that, not only the way you've conceptualized it, we take the experiences as signals. A spiritual experience, a signal in the energy or the body or the emotions is a signal. And this signal means something. So we need meaning. So the spiritual journey is heavily laden with meaning. This means something. It couldn't be a spiritual journey if there was just a random series of emotions and physical stuff without any meaning, point or purpose. And the journey, of course, is somehow conceptualized as occurring in time and across space even. We could go and look at the experiences of thought and concept. We know very powerfully that the way we imagine ourselves, the way we imagine our world, plays a profound effect on the experience. The experience of feeling like a limited person in a body feels contracted, feels tight, feels scary as well, could die. There are beliefs that we can change. We can change beliefs through having more evidence or greater understanding of something. So we might feel, let's choose a belief we can look at. We might believe that we have no special talent or purpose in the world and feel sad about it or limited or unhappy in some way. And until one day you discover a hidden talent. What a wonderful day that is. A talent you didn't even know you had. Perhaps you discover a talent in people reading. You really get people and you become a counselor. And because you've got great people reading skills, that helps in counseling. And you feel self-esteem and self-worth as a result of this shift in beliefs from I'm not good at anything to wow, I'm really good at this, I've found something. And that old belief falls away or is modified in some way. It moves from I'm good at nothing to I'm good at least at least one thing. So you feel better for that. So these are all shifts, and these somehow also signify movement in one's spiritual journey or progress, at least according to the mind. Because we could look at it the other way. We could look at it as no emotional changes, or random emotional changes, random physical changes, or no physical changes, no belief changes, and think nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. We could use the opinions of others, how people respond to us could change over time. We could start our life as a sort of miserable little introverted character without many friends and sort of peculiar ideas about the way the world works that makes it feel isolating. And then as we mature, perhaps, we could, I guess, open up a bit to people and be less guarded, less socially guarded. This probably relates to emotions and concepts, but I'll just roll with it. And as we open up to people, they're friendlier to us and we're friendlier to them, and we have more friends. And people report to us, you used to be a real douche. You used to be awful, but now I really like you. You kind of got over yourself. Or something like that, You used to be really angry all the time, but now you're really relaxed. Whatever. And so this change, this shift that's reported to us by others, wow, you're really peaceful now, used to be so uptight, is taken as another signal. This is a signal of progress, that I'm moving. I've moved. So the idea of spiritual progress and movement are entwined. The idea of meaning, that something means something in the spiritual and spiritual progress, again, are entwined. And sometimes let's not forget, these experiences can be extraordinary. It can go from this tightly contracted, miserable, depressed person most of the time, with pain in the body, with a limited outlook on their future, no friends, and there can be an incredible shift in perception or belief that can change experience radically. Suddenly, some huge belief shifts, falls away, is gone, whatever, and suddenly the body becomes relaxed more than you've ever known, and you're filled with feel-good serotonin, and you get a big hit of positive brain chemistry. The muscles relax. You see things in a way you never saw them before. You feel more confident. The fears have fallen away. You are more outgoing. You get a better job. You make more friends. You earn more money. That life that you used to live is gone. It's just vanished after a huge shift. And this feels like you've made this enormous spiritual leap of some kind. And that experience is incredibly powerful because it's contrasted so starkly with the experience that went before it. And so that's another signal, the contrast. Before it was this, but now it's way better. And that can work the other way. There can be a dark night of the soul experience, which I've talked about in another dialogue, where all the good stuff you had going collapses, it goes away, as if you've done something wrong, perhaps, or your God has forsaken you. You're on the cross, no one's there. Your body is sore, your thoughts are confused, your emotions are all over the place. You haven't made all that great progress has gone away, And then there's the judgment. Oh, what have I done? This is terrible. I'm being punished, and so on. So there's another signal of spiritual regress, perhaps. And so therefore we come back to this central, or this starting point about spirituality. It's very easy to get caught up and hooked up into experience. But is that what enlightenment is pointing to? A shift in experience, some kind of signal that enlightenment has arrived, some grand change in perception, in the experience, and whatnot. What if there isn't? What if you can? Let's use this concept loosely. What if you can be enlightened and there's no change? You're still miserable. You're depressed. Can you still be enlightened then? Can you be enlightened with a a body full of pain, being a miserable, selfish character who doesn't really like people? Can you be enlightened with a lot of hang-ups, a lot of neuroses, a lot of paranoias? Can you be enlightened and have no one like you? Be lonely. The lonely, enlightened guy who's a bit of a douche. Can that happen? Or, as far as the mind is reporting, is that not possible? Does it have to be one way? Or broadly speaking, not necessarily one way, but a kind of flavour. It has to be somehow special, somehow different, somehow positive, more positive. Otherwise, why would I do it? The seeker is, of course, in some ways, because it's a conceptualized entity, it will inevitably gravitate towards positivity. That's inevitable, really. Who in their right mind would gravitate towards negativity? I'm making spiritual progress because my life is becoming more and more miserable. We just don't read those books, do we? There's no one out there giving satsangs and talking about becoming more miserable. What you need to do is hoard your money. What you need to do is be unkind. What you need to do is be unpleasant. Don't meditate. Be really busy and distracted all the time. Have a swirling, confused, distorted mind with skewed perceptions and peculiar and unusual beliefs about the world. Then you know you're making it. We don't hear that, do we? We don't hear that message. We sometimes hear people encouraging us to embrace whatever. If you're negative, it's okay. If you're positive, it's okay. It's another form of bargaining, you could say, for the seeker. It's another get-out-of-jail card that the seeker can use, so they can have a full range. If I'm having positivity, I'm making spiritual progress. If I'm having negativity, all I need to do is accept it as a normal part of life that I'm negative, and that's progress. But can we be douchebags? Can we be spiritual douchebags, negative, unkind, unpleasant characters, and be enlightened? This will challenge the mind's thinking around this. Anyway, I'm hoping, please Allah, there's a wave up ahead. Hope this was in some way interesting, and I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for listening. Comments are welcome.